I never thought that a lawnmower would be one of the most advanced machines that I have here in my studio. This thing maps my yard, it avoids obstacles, it cuts on a schedule, handles uneven terrain, and somehow has me caring more about my lawn than I ever did before. And yes, I 3D printed some parts for it, because of course I did. But there's one problem. Now that the mower is doing its job, I can clearly see that my lawn has a clover situation. So today we're taking a closer look at the Mammotion LUBA 3 all-wheel drive. I have footage of it mowing, some on-mower camera shots, terrain tests, overhead shots, app screen recordings, and I'm gonna bring it down in the studio so we can take a closer look at things and all the tech packed into this thing. As some of you guys know, I'm busy. Between work, family, the channel, all the 3D printed stuff, all the 3D printed projects, lawn care usually becomes one of those things I get to only when I get to it. And by I get to it, I mean, I usually wait until the lawn looks crazy and then I go out there and I cut it. Mostly I'm ignoring it until I can't anymore. But the funny thing is, having the mower handle the cutting part actually makes me want to focus on the rest of the lawn. So instead of spending about 2 hours pushing a mower, trimming, I can start thinking about grass health, weeds, the clover, the bare spots, all the edges, and the stuff that I've honestly mostly ignored. So this is where I need help from you guys. If you know how to deal with clover without destroying my entire lawn, please drop some advice in the comments, because the mower is doing its part. Now I need to learn how to do mine. Right out of the box, this thing does not feel like a toy. It has this chunky, overbuilt robot look to it. Being a car guy, the all-wheel drive setup obviously immediately caught my attention because my yard's not perfectly flat. It's definitely not a putting green. The other thing that stood out was the antenna and the positioning setup. It's far more advanced than I originally thought. This is not just a mower that randomly bounces around the yard. It needs to know exactly where it is, where your boundaries are, where it should mow and where it should not go. I'm personally going to mount my antenna to the side of my shed, and I've already printed some brackets to make that setup a little bit cleaner. This is where the mower starts to feel less like a lawn tool and more like a robot. I'm going to show you some screen footage here because honestly, the app is a huge part of the experience. You can set up zones, mowing areas, no-go areas, paths that take you from one lawn to another, schedules, you can set the cutting height, you can change the mowing patterns and how the mower behaves in different sections of the yard. You can even write things in your lawn. It's really impressive. This is one of those products where the setup really matters. If you rush the map, put your antenna in a bad spot, or don't think through your mowing zones, you're probably going to have a slightly worse time. I'm not going to pretend this is as simple as plugging in a toaster. It's more like setting up a little outdoor robot that needs to understand your yard. And that's when it starts getting really interesting. The first time you watch it mow, it's weirdly satisfying. It doesn't just randomly bounce around like someone might expect when you say robot lawnmower. It actually looks like it knows exactly where it's going with intention. The lines, the turns, the way it works through sections, that's the part that made me realize that this is a real piece of technology. And because you can run this thing way more often, it's not just trying to chop down a jungle every time, which is what I typically do with my actual lawnmower. It's maintaining the lawn instead of doing these big panic cuts. And maybe, just maybe, that gives me a better chance at fixing the rest of my lawn. I know that a lot of people have way more challenging yards than I do, but I wanted to see if it'll get hung up or lose traction or dig in or panic when the lawn wasn't just perfect and super bumpy. Obviously this thing isn't a rock crawler and I'm not trying to torture test it to death, but I want to test the kind of stuff that's actually in my yard. And watching it work through rougher patches is pretty impressive for a robot lawnmower, especially when you see it from like a low angle or you watch the camera view from the actual mower. That on-mower footage really makes it feel like it's like a little robot going on an adventure, and I've thought about definitely putting a boombox on that thing and playing some music as it goes around and cuts my lawn. DJ Roomba 2.0, anybody? When you bring this thing inside and actually look at it, there is a lot going on. Let me grab it. You've got the drive system, you've got all of the sensors all over this thing, you've got the positioning setup, you got the charging system, you got the cutting system, the wheels, the underside, the charging contacts, the antenna setup, and then you got the software tying all of this together. As somebody who spends a lot of time around machines and firmware and printers and weird RC projects, I really appreciate when a product feels more than just plastic wrapped around a motor. This mower is cool outside because you get to watch it actually work, but in the studio, you can actually start to appreciate the design, the way that everything is packaged. There's just a lot to look at here. And that's what makes this so interesting to me. It's not just a regular old stinky mower. It's a robot that lives outside that has a really specific job to do. Of course, I couldn't leave this thing alone. So like I mentioned, I printed some pretty cool wheel covers for this thing to give it a little bit more personality. Do they need to exist? No, absolutely not. But that's kind of the point. Sometimes a product like this is just begging for a few custom parts. So check that out. I installed them. And what do you think? You guys let me know. Does this look better or what? I also printed these 3D printed brackets that will allow me to mount my antenna to my shed instead of just throwing everything by the charging station and hoping for the best. This is the kind of product that immediately makes me think of accessories. Mounts, covers, brackets, maybe some flares. I even saw somebody make a full-on doghouse that this thing parks into. And yeah, I kind of want one. There's a bunch of possibilities here. And if you have any ideas for printed parts or accessories for this thing, definitely let me know. The biggest surprise is not just that it cuts grass. That part is obvious. The surprise is that it changes how I think about my lawn. So instead of mowing being my 2-hour job, mowing becomes the maintenance layer. And I can spend those 2 hours focusing on fixing the lawn itself. So the app is deeper than I expected, the mower is more capable than I expected, and watching it work is way more satisfying than I thought it would be, and I can definitely attest that my neighbors have seen me stand there and watch this thing while it mows with a beer. Hey, I'm a simple man. But I want to keep using this thing before I pretend to know everything about it. This is not one of those reviews where I use something once, point the camera at it, and act like I have years of experience. If you guys follow this channel, you guys definitely know that I don't like doing that. I want to see how this thing does over time, because with a mower like this, the real test is not just one cut. The real test is weeks and months of regular use. I've had this thing for about a month, and 2 of those weeks were rain riddled. There's still a bunch of things that I want to test over time. I want to see how reliable the mapping is after repeated runs. I want to see how it handles schedule changes. I want to see what happens with obstacles that appear, like tree branches, etc. I want to see how it handles different grass conditions. I want to see how much the antenna location matters once I get it mounted properly on my shed. And I want to see if regular mowing actually helps my lawn look better over the next few weeks. The last part's probably what I'm most curious about, because if the mower can take care of the mowing, then I can spend that time fixing my actual lawn. Or at least trying to. Now I need help from the lawn people. This mower is doing its part, but clearly my grass needs work. I've got a lot of clover. It literally took over the past few months. And I know some people like clover. I get it. It's green. It grows fast and easily. The bees and rabbits absolutely love it. But I would like to get my grass looking more like an actual lawn. So if you know the right way to fix this, please let me know, whether it's overseeding, a special fertilizer, soil testing, specific weed control, maybe it's the mowing height, maybe it's watering more or less, or something else I'm completely missing. Please drop it in the comments. I'm very much in the very beginner stages of actually caring about my lawn. I hate to admit that. What can I say? So far, I'm impressed. The LUBA 3 is not just a mower with an app. It feels like a real outdoor robot. The app configuration is impressive. The hardware is fun to look at. It kind of looks like a rally car. The all-wheel drive system is intriguing, and it definitely handles my yard pretty easily. And it already has me thinking about my lawn care completely differently than ever. I'm going to keep testing it. I'm going to keep printing parts for it. And hopefully with your help, I'll figure out how to fix this clover situation. If you guys want to see more real-world updates on this thing, make sure you're subscribed. Maybe join the Discord because I'll post stuff there about it. And if you have lawn care advice, 3D print accessory ideas, questions about this mower, drop them in the comments. Guys, don't forget you can go to 3dprintsos.com to get cool merch like this. And as always, I'll see y'all in the comments. Later.